Hello, my name is Robin Benjamins. I'm with Bechtel Corporation, and I'm going to talk to you about the interoperability myth. This is something that I run into quite a bit. I spend a lot of time at conferences. I meet a lot of people all around the ISO 15926 I-ring standard, and there's a lot of interest in people wanting to implement this themselves, but we always have to run into this hurdle of this interoperability myth, so I really want to get this cleared off right away. So the first thing is to just define what interoperability is. And a lot of people have put a lot of energy into defining it. This is an example from Wikipedia. This is probably great for some folks, but I don't really find it much use. So when I think of defining what interoperability is, when I explain to people, it is this. It's nothing more than simply to communicate. Whether it's people or whether it's systems, that's interoperability. Next, we'll talk about aspects of interoperability. First is who's involved, everyone and everything, including our information systems. And what we're interoperating or communicating is the information in the form of data. It could be documents or a mixture of that. How is, this is where there's lots of choices, different kinds of technologies, different methods, even different standards, but we want to focus on the ISO 15926 standard. When do we do it? As often as necessary. So really, it's driven by the business needs. There are some key milestones, but there's a lot of informal exchanges of information. You just use the same solution for that. And why? Why do we do this? Well, yeah, to live long and prosper. In other words, there's some definite business value to do it, and in most cases, it's a requirement. We need to pass our information around. It's part of the delivery. So this is a little example of what interoperability is. So there's some information. It conveys the ideas, instructions from someone who then needs to communicate it to someone else. And this is sort of where the challenges lie, that in using automated systems in the form of data or documents, there's some, well, could be a lot of effort in trying to interpret what exactly that information is. So what is the myth? So the first thing is that interoperability happens. We do it all the time. We're doing it now through this presentation. And if you go in your company, you look around, you'll find that there's information being passed one form or another. So the problem is the way we do it is it's very expensive. It's very labor intensive, not just the investment you make on the various systems and technology, but it's the amount of labor that's poured into understanding it. So some of the aspects of that are there's a lot of ambiguity in our information, and this comes about that when information is in our application systems, it's very well controlled, constrained, so you don't have that ambiguity, but when you pull the information out of it and pass it around, it can become very ambiguous, and that is a really key cost component. There are mistakes in interpreting. Some of that has some really large consequences, which could not only affect the cost of a project, but safety and other things. The subject matter of interoperability tends to be very incomprehensible. People kind of catch or latch onto certain catchphrases, but in the end, the actual mechanics of it and how you actually go about implementing it can be rather bewildering. There is a lot of confusion. Some of that's generated by the different stakeholders. And the other part of it is that there's really not a good source of information or getting that kind of a good entry. How do I get started? Where's the dummies guide for how to do interoperability? And there are some conflict of interest. I would say primarily my experience is with the software vendors and the customers of those software vendors. So the good news is that we know how to solve this problem, and that's kind of where the ISO 15926 and I-ring come into play. There's been a lot of work done. It's gone over many years, lots of lessons learned, and we have a lot in place today to make companies coming into this a lot easier. There's a lot less to do than what was occurring, let's say, 15 years ago. Okay, so to get on board with the solution, the first thing you have to realize is that it's not just your problem, it's an industry problem. And these are an example of some of the organizations that are actively involved in implementing the ISO 15926 I-ring standards. And the other important thing are the standards organizations such as Theatech, PCA, and communities like the iRing User Group. These are all great resources to tap into, to engage with, to help you with improving your interoperability in your company. So if you're new to implementing an improved interoperability, one key thing I want to leave you with is that you must collaborate when you go through your implementation. There's a lot of benefits to doing this. You got access to experts that are not in your company. You can share the costs, leverage knowledge. It really is a very important way to accelerate your implementation and get there much quicker. And most importantly, when you come into this, you do want to approach this very optimistically. There always will be a lot of challenges and some difficulties. So by using the collaboration, you'll get that help. But again, you want to make sure that you know with confidence you will get through all this and you'll get that ROI on the investment you're about to make. So thanks for listening. And there's some links here that you can go to. A lot of these are technical, but an important new one is the iringtoday.com. I think if you go there, hopefully you're there now, you'll get a lot of good information, and it's a really good entry point into this whole world of ISO 59226 and iRing. Thanks.